columnist at the Philadelphia Daily News. Gentlemen, thank you for both coming on. We're going to talk about something else, but I got to throw this at you, this news coming out. The fact that the president came back, he could have said, Paris, we had a great conversation and leave it there, but he went back to this whole, hey, you know what, there were some bad guys on the other side as well, referring to those who came out to protest against the white supremacists. Why is he doing that?
You know what, I think I commend Senator Scott, who wasn't, as we all know, a strong or even a supporter of the president during the campaign trail, for sort of becoming the senior statesman in the Senate on a host of issues, be it tax reform, health care, small businesses, which are all things in his wheelhouse, Senator Scott. But in addition to that, the platform that he has as someone who can speak with some relative amount of authority on race relations. And so what he did yesterday was go and speak truth to power. He informed the president about about his perspective on a whole host of issues, especially Charlottesville, as a way to encourage him to listen to other sides of people within the party that agree with the GOP platform, but say, this is my perspective as a Black American in this country about what happened in Charlottesville. And Senator Scott said it perfectly. He had no expectation that the president was going to automatically change his total perspective on how he responded. The president is a law and order type of an individual who does not like violence and abhors Antifa, as well as condemning multiple times racist people that are white supremacists, KKK, and the like. But the president is doing the right thing by meeting with Senator Scott, and he promised to continue to meet with him. And I think these are positive steps in the right direction that this president is doing. And
another potential positive step, and Solomon, I want to hear what you think on the same question I asked of Paris. But in addition, Washington Post columnist, reporter David Nakamura reported, he asked the president a question about the Tim Scott meeting. He confirmed that Senator Scott asked him to diversify the administration. Quote, I told him I would do it. Encouraging?
Not really. I think that the president tends to meet with Black people who are pliable, Black people who will agree with his point of view, Black people who are more conservative. And certainly we are not a monolith. We don't all think the same thing. But I think that his policies, the policies that he has put forward, are harmful, frankly, to Black people. I think it's harmful.
But hang on, do you think
to
Senator
put
Scott
an education secretary in place that doesn't know what she's doing? I think it's harmful to roll back consent decrees with 14 police departments across the country that have abused Black people. I think it's harmful to attack affirmative action so that our students can't go to the best universities in the same numbers. And so it doesn't matter. It's like chess. That's how white supremacy works. The pieces can only move in a certain way. The Black knight can only move in an L shape, just like the white knight can only move in an L shape. So putting some people of color in there, if they are not going to challenge the agenda, I don't think is something that's going to be useful to my community.
But I'm listening very closely to you, but do you think the only Republican Black senator, Senator Scott, South Carolina, is pliable? And do you respect the man for trying to talk to the president about all this?
I absolutely respect Tim Scott for trying to talk to the president, and but I do think that Tim Scott is a conservative. I think that when you meet with people like Kanye West, people like Jim Brown, those are athletes and entertainers. I would like to see him meet with some thought leaders who understand what's going on in some of the Black communities that the president has talked about in ways that have been insulting. And so, yes, I think that Tim Scott is the type of person that he would meet with because Tim Scott is more conservative. Yes, I respect the fact that he tried to make the effort, but trying to put Black people into his cabinet who aren't going to try to move the needle, I don't think is useful.
Okay, I am out of time. I got to send it over to Washington, but I really appreciate both your voices, Paris and Solomon, for weighing in on this late breaking news from the Skaggle on board Air Force One, the president talking about his meeting at the White House with Senator Scott. I'm Brooke Baldwin. Thanks for being with me. The Lead with Jake Tapper starts now.
Thanks, Brooke. Part of the Deal by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. The Lead starts right now. President Trump touring hurricane damage in Florida today while back in D.C., a game of let's make a deal. Is President Trump abandoning his base by pairing up with Democrats to protect the Dreamers. Just how deep does Russia's use of Facebook for propaganda purposes go? Well, even Facebook executives say they don't know. And one source tells CNN it might still be going on. Putin clicking like on that one, no doubt. Plus, this just might eclipse their past travel trouble after news of the Treasury Secretary asked for a government jet for his honeymoon. The Treasury Department's Inspector General is now looking into all the times the multimillionaire asked for a taxpayer-funded ride. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. We're going to begin today with the politics lead. Minutes ago, the president returned from storm-ravaged Florida. Now he's back in Washington, D.C., where the question on everyone's mind is deal or no deal? President Trump and top Democratic leaders seem to agree on broad strokes to provide some sort of legal status for the so-called Dreamers. Those are the nearly 800,000 undocumented immigrants brought into the U.S. illegally when they were children. But much of the deal-making still seems to be happening. Democrats say the deal would allow more spending on border security, but would not, in and of itself, provide funding for the proposed border wall, which is, of course, one of the president's signature campaign promises. There have been, from the White House, mixed messages, to say the least, about whether there is any sort of agreement, with President Trump tweeting this morning that no